My storybook is an online resource that can be accessed from any device, and it is a resource for students to create a storybook online. And it is a fun way for students to show their creativity as well as show their understanding of story elements and writing skills as well. So this is my account. Teachers can create one account for the whole class, or if your students have their own emails, they can make their own accounts as well. I have found it more useful for just making one email address for the whole class, because then I have access to the students' stories as well, and they can look at each other's, and it's just a really good way to keep it all cohesive and organized. But either way is just fine. So let's go to Create Storybook. All right, so this is how all of them look when you first start. So this is obviously the title page, so students can choose the font they want, the text size, the color, the alignment, etc., and where it is on the page. Also, you can choose items. So these are things that you can put in your story, little graphics that go along with the content in your story. There's also an option to draw content, and these are the different types of brushes, and you can pick colors. There's more if students choose that option. This is the text option, so these are where the students are type the stories, and they can also choose the font, size, alignment, color, background color as well, and then they can add it to the story. So this actually keeps it nice and organized for them, that it's all over here at first, and then they can put it onto their story. Also, there is a scene option for students to choose either just a solid color for the background of their story, or they can choose scenic graphics as well. Over here is where they can add pages to their story, and this is the back cover, and they can write a description of the story so people know what it's about. So that's kind of building those real life skills of how books actually are, because books actually do give descriptions on the back of what the story is about. So this is always really useful for me when I'm teaching about genre. This resource, it allows students to really show their understanding of different types of writing. I've also used it in figurative language unit when we focused on personification, and students had to have an element of personification in the stories that they created. So when students do finish, they can go to finish now. The story does automatically save, but when they're absolutely finished, they can say finished story. And then it says published stories will be visible to friends, family, and our community. So you can publish it. So this is just a community link. So this is really awesome for sending it to parents, and so parents can kind of have access to these and also see what their kids are creating and doing at school, which is really great. There's also an option to turn the ebooks into or turn the books into ebooks that you can download to print. It's a PDF, so that's $5 if you choose to do that. So here is the library. So all of the stories will be lined up in here. There's also featured stories, and these are done by other students. So kids can kind of see what other students, just like them, have created and are able to do. There's also classroom resources for literacy skills and community storybooks as well. As for ISTE standards, my storybook allows teachers to create learning opportunities that challenge students to use a design process and computational thinking to innovate and solve problems. So this is completely them creating a product, and there you have to problem solve to make sure they have all the elements of a story. This can be a collaborative deal that they can do in groups, And it really makes them go through the process of problem solving and creating, which is really good for learning experiences. Also allows teachers to provide alternative ways for students to demonstrate competency and reflect on their learning using technology. So this is really great for really letting kids show their understanding of story elements and how creating stories works. So it's just a really good alternative to just reading books and answering comprehension questions. This is kind of them showing their knowledge of stories, whatever the assignment may be. So this is a wonderful resource, and this is my storybook.